Welcome back to the news at 10. Reprieve has come the way of over 1,000 internally displaced persons in Kabusa village in Abuja, as staff of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas have donated relief materials to the camp. The donations were made to the IDPs under the I-Care program, an initiative of the Deputy Managing Director of the NLNG, which targets IDPs across the country. According to the group, the staff contributed both materials and cash to procure critical needs for the IDPs in the northeast and in Edo State.
For over 1 year, these internally displaced persons from the northeast have sought refuge in this village under harsh conditions. Relief, however, came their way as staff of the Nigerian Liquefied and Natural Gas donated relief materials, including food items and clothing, to them. Apart from these donations, the NLNG workers have also earmarked 15 million naira to improve the lives of IDPs across the country.
The Let's Care initiative was actually launched by our Deputy Managing Director, Mr. Issa Inua, and it's basically an initiative to deal with the displaced persons that came up from the northeast. We noticed that as an organization, the rest of the world was doing something, the rest of Nigeria, and it would not be fair as an organization that is blessed with so much to not also give back. And our best way of actually helping is by getting involved in this initiative.
Nigeria is ranked third after Syria and Colombia of internally displaced people. So our members of our staff have come together and contributed money over the last 3 months, and also our company, we put together about 15 million naira in cash donations. We've collected items from our different locations, Bonny, Port Harcourt and Abuja, that we've gathered together in order to assist internally displaced persons.
Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization which has partnered with NLNG in this intervention has urged government and other corporate organizations to invest in education and security in the northeast.
I know the Nigerian government are doing a fantastic job, but we also would plead for more security, you know, in the sense, most especially in the northern east and stuff, and more education also, because we feel like maybe due to lack of education, you know, that's why we have, you know, maybe that's the reason why certain things are happening, you know, in the northeast. So we would like, and we will plead for, if there's something that can be done, for us to have teachers, even volunteers from all over to come in and help us.
The I-Care program of the Nigerian Liquefied and Natural Gas is an intervention program of the company aimed at giving back to the society, especially the internally displaced persons in Nigeria.
Let's move over to business news now. Here's Emana Hamawe.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. The chairman of the Senate committee investigating rice waivers in the country, Senator Adamu Aliero, has demanded that Stallion Group and Olam International pay 44 billion naira as import duties on rice importation owed the Nigerian government. The two foreign companies who are involved in rice importation into the country appeared before the Senate committee, which is investigating the flagrant abuse of the rice waivers policy. While demanding for payment of the money, the chairman of the committee said Nigeria would not fold its hands and watch the huge debt swept under the carpet. In his defense, the executive director of Stallion Group, Harpreet Singh, said that former President Goodluck Jonathan granted the fiscal policy approval on rice production on May the 26th, 2014. According to him, the Ministry of Agriculture opted to flout the tenets of the policy by giving quotas to non-existing millers and investors who have no connection with the policy, while the existing investors were left behind. And the Nigerian Society of Engineers is set to unveil the country's first national infrastructure deficit scorecard next month. President of the body, Mr. Ademola Olorunfemi, says the scorecard is a means of assessing the performance of infrastructure delivery. According to him, the report will focus on some critical infrastructure such as power, communications, oil and gas, among others, and will be released at the opening ceremony of the National Engineering Conference. In the meantime, the Nigerian Society of Engineers is asking the government to engage more indigenous professionals to handle engineering projects across the country. And in a bid to improve liquidity generation to boost lending to small and medium enterprises, foremost financial institution Fidelity Bank has listed its 30 billion naira bonds on the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. At the listing ceremony, which held in Lagos, the bank and other fixed income market operators said the growing confidence in the FMDQ OTC has also necessitated the listing. Channel's business correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
Corporate bonds listing on the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. This time, it's Fidelity Bank bringing its 30 billion naira bond to the secondary market. The bond is listed at a 16.48% coupon rate with a due date of May 2022. And the chief executive, Mr. Nnamdi Okonkwo, says the listing aims to enhance Fidelity Bank's retail lending business.
We needed to use this money to finance our SME lending, our retail lending, and our retail infrastructure. So it was a very deliberate effort. And to that extent, upfront, we distributed the application to use 80% of this for SMEs and use 20% for retail. And even in retail, we broke it further down. We use 15% for retail lending and 15% for retail infrastructure.
With the purpose of action explained, it's time to carry out the listing rights.
That's the signature clause, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fidelity Bank's Eurobond is listed in the Irish stock market. Parties to this local listing describe the financing vehicle as a catalyst for liquidity.
Several investors who were interested bidded for a specific coupon, right? And we needed to agree the clearing rate. And what happened at the book building process was that 16.48% was what cleared the market for the 30 billion that we raised.
They have a good name, they raise the money, they then use this to support their SMEs, and that is commendable. For the euro-dollar loan, they'll probably use this for a different strategy, which may be oil and gas, where their requirements will probably be dollar-based.
With the bonds now on the secondary fixed income market, the doors of Fidelity Bank are now widely open to entrepreneurs in search of capital. Temple Ashaju, Channel's Business News.
In the meantime, the Lagos state government says its 2016 budget will focus on security, infrastructure and the economy. According to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Abayomi Kadiri, the budget will also focus on healthcare, social welfare, good governance, justice and sports. Mr. Kadiri says the state government is open to all shades of opinion in preparing the budget in order to satisfy the yearnings of its citizens. The key benchmark index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange began the week with a positive return, adding 129 basis points. Here's Harriet Agbein with summary of the day's activities.
The Nigerian equities market opened the week in the green zone on the back of major gains recorded by some industrial and banking stocks. The all-share index appreciated by 1.29% to close at 30,219.01. Market capitalization of equities listed on the main board ended the session at 10.38 trillion naira. 17 stocks notched up gains. Dangote Cement was the top gainer for the day, growing 4.93% to finish at 168 naira 95 kobo. It's followed by Mobil and UACN. On the flip side, 31 laggards were recorded. The top three were Guinness Nigeria, NASCON, and Cement Company of Northern Nigeria. Zenith Bank was the top volume driver for the session with 16.68 million shares traded, followed by FBN Holdings with 14.16 million shares and Transcorp with 6.65 million shares. Investors at the end of trade in 2,930 deals exchanged 104.46 million shares valued at 1.93 billion naira. That's it on the stock market report. I'm Harriet Agbein.
Thank you, Harriet. Let's take a look at the figures from the global equities market. And that's a package on Business News tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Emana Amawe. Ijoma is right by with the rest of the news.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Arsenal prepare to face on form Bayern Munich in a Champions League game they cannot afford to lose if they must advance from the group phase. And that'll be on sports. So join us again.